Hey everyone, this is Alex with Integromat support team, and I'm glad to introduce you the new addition to Integromat. It's a ClickFunnels, and probably many of you was struggling with the integration. So this will be much more easier now with the ClickFunnels added to Integromat. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to integrate your ClickFunnels with hundreds of services. So basically, you need to start with creating a scenario. So you can select any service, but in our case, we're going to skip it and select the ClickFunnels from here. So the ClickFunnels module will be available here, and currently we have three available options. It's a watch for new contacts, for new purchases, and add a contact to ClickFunnels. Okay, so let's start with the contacts. Currently, we have an option to track them using the webhooks, and you need to add the webhook manually to your funnel. And we have the option in here to manage all of your webhooks. And if you open this one, this section on the left side, you will be able to filter them for ClickFunnels only app, and you will see the currently webhooks in a queue if your scenario or integration not activated now. The webhooks will be collected and a quantity of webhooks will be related to the plan you currently have. So in my plan, I have 10,000 webhook in a queue. So you probably will have less or more depending on your plan again. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all of them to start from the scratch. And then here you will have the option to create the new webhook. You can name it as you want. Let's say ClickFunnels contacts. Okay, so let's save it. Then we need to copy the address of this webhook and put in our funnel. Okay, so let's open the funnel settings, scroll down, and here you have the option to add the webhooks. So we need to add a new webhook, put our URL we copied from Integromat and select the event. So I strongly recommend you use one only event to not duplicate all of them. And in this case, we're going to use the create a contact, and that's it. So we now have added the webhook. We see quantity of delivered webhooks here, and let's start and let's opt in. Now let's say we have the registration page. Yeah, so we can go from first page, and let's go ahead and register on a webinar. Let's use some name and an email for it. Let's submit the contact. The thing here that ClickFunnels sends the webhooks with a delay. So usually it's 34 seconds from a moment when the customer opted in and the time when webhook will be delivered. You can track this information in webhook deliveries here to make sure that your webhook was delivered. So currently you see 0 attempts made to deliver our webhook, and we can start our integration. So integration, here we have the trigger, and it may be set to different times, but for the webhooks, which are immediate triggers, this trigger will be triggered immediately as soon as we will get the information. So we need either run it on automatic mode. We have to save the scenario, select the type or schedule, and then just close the scenario. Or we can do it manually to see how it works. in manual mode while we're here, and let's see and open. Okay, so as you can see, no one was listening for our webhook, so I missed to activate it before the send first lead. So let's do it again. Okay, so you have to start your scenario or activate webhook before you will send the new lead. So I intentionally did it so you will know how to do it properly. And let's add Alex, let's say 2 here, and some test email. Okay, so now our email submitted and the webhook should be delivered automatically. And while we're waiting, I can show you more option which currently has Integromat. So we have the plans. The plans here, we have the free plan, which has 1,000 operation per month and 100 megabytes of data. And the minimum interval for triggers, which are not webhooks, it's a 15 minutes. On the higher plans, as you can see here, you can get 1 minute, which are not available in our competitors. So we have the 1 minute trigger, and the quantity of operations again depends on your plan, and you can buy them additional 10,000 of operation will cost $8 per month, but the plan costs $9. So it's a monthly plans here. Okay, so let's open our scenario. We got the information from our funnel, and this is how it looks like. So you can see the difference of data appearance. So you can easily see all variables at once here instead of drop downs, which are not convenient, as I think at least. And then we can add the service where we want to transfer our data. Let's say we'll use the simplest one for the beginning. Let's say Google Sheet. So we're going to add a row in this case to our existing Google Sheet. So let's select the file. As I remember, it's a product. Okay, so we're going to add the email and our name. Okay, so we have the first name. You can use a drag and drop if you want. Okay, so let's save it. And now we fully automated this process, and we can go ahead and open our file to see how it will appear, how the Google Sheet will add automatically new rows with the new contacts. Okay, so here our Google Sheet, and let's submit a new contact in our funnel. Okay, so let's call it Alex3. Okay, since we activated our scenario, they will work automatically. And while we are waiting, we can go ahead and add some more things, scenario, how we call them, or integration. So we can now use routers here to distribute our data to different services. So you can do the same thing by adding, let's say, another Google Sheet or any service you want. Let's say Trello, for example. So you want to create a card in a Trello for every new contact you will create. So you need to select the board, the list, let's say this one, and the name for your new card. we can give the card, let's say, the same name as our customer has, so the first name, and a description. So let's say new lead. So as you can see, you can easily add a text here, use many of the functions. It's a general functions like a get, if, all the function has a description here. We have math function, we have text function, where you can substring your like, let's say you have a word, you need, or text, you need substring them. So you can use this function and a lot of more. You can measure the length of the string, you can find the index of specific symbol, convert it to string or binary, encode to URL, and so on and so on. So new lead, let's say, with the email, and here we're going to add our email. Okay, so that's it. So the same thing you can do. You can basically clone the elements and easily add them or connect to different modules. So each module can have only two connections. The initial one can have only one. But using the routers, you can build super complex structures and easily see how the files go. Tools which will help you to understand how the process works. So let's say this is how it will be working. So we will send the same data to this and this service. The data will be split here. So it's easily understandable here, right? And we can align all these, or you can do your own pattern if you want it like this. It's also possible. Okay, so while we have created this one, basically we do not need two cards in Trello. We can save it, and at the same time we can go to our history and see that our contact was already submitted because it was in the background, and the contact was added to the Google Sheet. Okay, so here the Alex 3, and sometimes ClickFunnels, because of cache or something, may send the old leads. And as you also seen, I visited different page, and then before submitting, I went back to initial page. So this why I got two leads at once, but it comes from ClickFunnels. So as you see, we got two of them. You can easily manage your history of your runs or execution of the scenario. So you can easily see what data was there. We also have this raw payload, which contain the raw data, not process it or not modify it in this convenient way. So this raw data from a ClickFunnels, so you can always see all possible variables here, and the data which were used for next modules. Okay, and see here all the information about this particular execution. So our Google Sheet should get two contacts instead of one, but this again is because the ClickFunnels. And here a couple more things which we can do with the ClickFunnels. The first I want to show it's a purchase. So we can easily play here and create a new purchase. So we need to place the trigger here because only one initial trigger module can be in one scenario. Or you can easily go ahead and create a new one, right? We also have option to clone of them. So we can easily clone, create a name, something. So we have created the clone of the scenario. But in this case, let's say I want to change the module and track the purchases instead of the contacts. I'm going to create the new webhook for it. Do not duplicate all this data. So I just need to place the webhook in the funnel settings, same as before. Okay, but in this case, I will need to select the purchase created, and that's it. So now we are integrated and we can run our scenario to get the initial data. I'm going to unlink the modules because they are not configured yet to the data from the purchase. So we can run the purchase and create the test first purchase for our scenario. Let's open the order page. And let's submit the order. Okay, so let's use test 4. Okay, so we have probably a couple of duplicated fields. Okay, our purchase submitted, and we should get the information about it in 30-40 seconds in here. Okay, so while we're waiting, we can check and discuss a couple cases which may happen with the ClickFunnels products. So in our case, I have submitted 2 products, and how you probably know, you can have like CFRO tools, which allows you to send several products, or you can have a BOM product, and so on. It's not super convenient to work with them. In the Stripe, in the Zapier, I apologize, for example, you can not track all the products properly. Here in Integromat, we will get this as an array, and we use the iterator module to iterate our purchase. So while I'm waiting for the information, I just showed you where this module is. Okay, so we got our data about purchase. Okay, again, we have the raw payload, which you may use just in case if you want, but all data structured here properly. And this is array I mentioned before. So this array of products will contain all the products in one purchase. By default, if you will use the data from a products array, you will get information only about the first product and a purchase. And this is what you probably faced already if you have used the Zapier, for example. So we can at once use the iterator and add it in our sequence and map it with our products array. So we just need to scroll below and find the products array. So it says the array here. You see these square brackets. And this module will allow us to process products one by one. So now we connected these modules together, and we need to map properly our Google Sheet. Let's also go ahead and add some address here to ClickFunnels page. Okay, we have a name field here, first and the last. So let's go ahead and add the address. Let's say billing one. Okay, so here our page, and let's quickly map the data for our Google Sheet. So as you see here, here came our information from iterator. So information about age of the products in your order, and the information in the first module, which is general information about data we got from the ClickFunnels. So I will use the data about customer from the first module. It will be the email, it will be the name, the first name, the date of the purchase, let's say created at, the product name, price, and all the stuff from here will be from our iterator, because each product will have may have different name, right, and different amount and so on. So we're starting with a name. Let's go ahead and find the name of our product. Okay, so it's here. And the price. This is a little bit tricky thing, because we have done the correction from cents. By default, the ClickFunnels sends the transaction amount in cents. So it's not super convenient, and we did correction for the whole transaction amount. But for the products, we can do this, because we do not know exact quantity of the products, and each of them will have different price. So we still have the cents here, but using our functions, we can easily format them as we want. So let's say I want to add a $sign before, and the amount of the cents I'm going to convert to dollars. Okay, and let's say 2 decimal places after. So let's then use the map functions here. We're going to use the format number and place this amount of cents as a first argument of a function. So you always see these pop-ups with the function description. So you see the first argument here will be the number. The second will be decimal points, which we're going to have, so places after decimal point, then decimal separator and a thousand separator. So we need to have 2 decimal points, and we want to have decimal separator as a point, for example. And for 1,000, it will be, let's say, the comma. So this function will return us something like we have 1,000 of cents, which is $10. So this function currently will return us it like this. So 10 and 2 decimal points in here. Basically, still not. We need divided. This will return the number like this. And now we need to divide this number by 100 to get a cent. Okay, so I would probably will add this one inside. So we will divide this amount by 100, and then we will format them to get 2 decimal points. That's it. So let's add the address. The address will come from general module because it will be the same for all our products. So let's scroll below and let's find the address. So address and the shipping address is here. So let's quickly put them on the places. Okay, so it was the country. And we need a zip and a state. That's it. So we're ready here. We can quickly map our Trello with, let's say, name of the product. Let's say product and order total. We can get the order total, for example, from, again, the general module because it's a general information about our order. And we have it here. So transaction amount, it already comes in dollars. So we can just add the dollar sign in front and that's it. So we're ready to go. We need to save this one and submit the order itself. Okay, so we got some test data here already, and let's add the cart and submit the order. Okay, so I'm going to add several products. It can be BOM, anything. And let's place the order. While we're waiting for the webhook delivered, we can go ahead and discuss the thing with the contact. So we also have a module which you're able to add the contact to ClickFunnels. For this, as you can see, the module cannot be alone and ask us to connect somewhere. So because we saved the integration, okay, so let me quickly adjust this thing. So we need to run it and save it. So it will be run it in background while we will play in here. Okay, so let's connect the module. And we have two options, basically one option here. You need to provide your ClickFunnels page, which you want to associate with your contact, and then name and the email. So, and that's it. So this will allow you to add the contacts to ClickFunnels from any other third-party services you want. So that's it. So this relatively simple, but let's go back to our module. Because I saved and ran the scenario, I do not need to save it again. So let's discard the changes. Let's open it. And I already see here this lightning side. This means the instant trigger was processed. And this one means it was manual, right? So if we open it, we see that we made the 14 operations because we had 6 products. So we added 6 products in our Excel and 6 products to our Trello. So we have created 6 cards. It's depends on your settings, but this is how I set them here. So this regarding the operations calculation also. So each module run calculate as an operation. So current run spend us 14 operations. But if you, let's say, just need to add the contact to Google Sheet, it will spend you 2 operation, which means 500 of free operation for free contacts you can add to, let's say, Google Sheet per month. And if you need more, you can just easily upgrade to $9. For $9, you will get 10,000 of operations. So if you, let's say, will calculate this, so 10,000 operation by 14 will give you 714 purchases like this. Okay, so here are sales. So as you can see, first and last two came as a zero. This because I have the free trial. If we open the page, you can see that they marked as a test and a one. This is a description of the subscription products, and these are the free trials. And this product has $10 price, so it came properly to our spreadsheet as a $10. So our function formula which we created for formatting sense worked properly. So then what else we need to check? Let's go to Trello to see our cards we created. Okay, so we have these cards. Okay, so let's open them to see. So the order total and the product with the name test. Order total will be the same for for each of these six, and these empty cards which we created before. So new lead with the email something, and the name of the card will be the first name we used. So that's basically it. And let's test last thing. Let's submit the contact to see it in a ClickFunnels. So for this, I will need any page from my ClickFunnels, and this should be final link. So it should be direct link to the page, not link to the funnel itself, a link to the page. And we actually can use any page you want. So we can, for example, for test purposes, open the webinar replay room, for example. Okay, so this is the link for the page, and let's go ahead and quickly submit the contact there. Okay, so I can play in the same scenario, but I just need to move the trigger. Put the page here, the name, Alex, let's say, submission test, and an email. That's it. So if we will run it, it may show us that run URL was selected here. So let's see. Probably I missed something. Yep. And as you can see, as I said before, we need the final URL. So the URL which will be opened, not the URL I used. So I used this one, the replay FK. It's a URL for, it's a funnel step URL, but we need to use the final one. So the URL of page itself. And this again, the thing which you will know after this test. So if I will do it properly, the lead will be submitted and you will see it in a ClickFunnels. So if you open the contacts, you will see our lead. And this is how you can add either one or thousands of leads to your ClickFunnels from any you want. Okay, so here are test lead. And if we will open the information, you can easily see that this lead was submitted from our room page. So the page URL is here. And the recent activity also should show us the same thing. So you see the room replay and a date. So this is correct page we have used. So that's it. Hope it helps. Please enjoy Integromat and let us know if you have any questions or feature requests. If you will ask about the option to add the webhooks automatically to ClickFunnels instead of going to funnel settings, this is the question, unfortunately, to ClickFunnels developers. They will need to provide us some information. So if you will ask them about it, so probably they will help us to do it. So that's it. Once again, hope it helps. Please let us know if you have any additional questions about this integration. Thank you.